Long before the first bag of chips was sealed in plastic, there was a different food. Small, golden, and roasted over an open flame in minutes. It carried 4 times more fiber than anything in the modern snack aisle. Yet almost no one alive today knows its name or where God placed it in Scripture. By the end of this, you will know the verse, the science, and how to make it in your own kitchen. But I am not going to tell you what it is just yet. Because first, you need to see the world it came from. You need to understand why something this simple and this powerful vanished from your table. Stay with me. Let me take you back 3,000 years. Picture a barley field on the eastern slope outside Bethlehem just before dawn. The harvest is underway. The air smells like dust and dry grass and warm earth. You can hear the snap of grain stalks being pulled by hand. The reapers move in rows across the hillside. Behind them, the ground is littered with fallen heads of barley. The pale gold of the grain catches the first light. The wind moves through what is left standing, and it sounds like a whisper. This was not a world of pantries and refrigerators. There were no sealed bags, no expiration dates, no aisles of processed food arranged by brand. In the ancient Near East, what you grew and what you harvested was the difference between eating and going hungry. A family survived on what the soil gave them that season, and the soil gave grain. Wheat in the valleys, barley on the hillsides. These were the 2 foundations of life in the biblical world. Archaeologists have found carbonized barley kernels in clay storage jars at sites across the Levant. At Tel Megiddo and Lachish, sealed grain stores dating back more than 3,000 years tell us exactly what people were eating. This was not exotic. This was not rare. This was breakfast and lunch, and the thing you reached for when your stomach told you it was time to eat, and the bread was not ready yet. Now, your grandmother may have done something just like this without ever reading a verse about it. In the Philippines, they call it pinipig. Pinipig is young glutinous rice that has been harvested early, pounded flat, and toasted. In parts of the Middle East and North Africa, roasted wheat and barley are still sold in paper cones on the street. In rural communities across West Africa, grain is dry roasted in iron pots over open fire, the same way it was done in the Bronze Age. Your grandmother did not know the science behind it. She did not know it was in the Bible. She just knew that when hunger hit you, grabbed a handful of grain, you roasted it over heat, and it kept you going. She was eating the same way people ate in the fields of Bethlehem 3,000 years ago. But among all the ways grain was prepared in the ancient world, there was one method that required nothing. No grinding stone, no oven, no water, no kneading, no waiting, just fire and grain. You held raw kernels over a flame or tossed them onto hot coals. They roasted in minutes. They were eaten warm, straight from the hand. And this food is not hidden. It is named by name in verse after verse. Here is the first one. The food is parched grain, roasted wheat and barley. In Hebrew, the word is qali. It means grain that has been scorched or dry roasted over fire. In the book of Ruth, chapter 2, verse 14, Boaz tells Ruth to come and eat. He offers her bread. He offers her vinegar to dip it in. And then he passes her qali, parched grain, roasted barley. She eats until she is satisfied and she has some left over. That is the first explicit snacking scene in the Bible. Ruth is hungry. She has been working since dawn. Boaz does not hand her bread because bread takes hours to prepare. He hands her roasted grain, ready in minutes, eaten by hand. The fast food of the ancient world. In 1 Samuel chapter 25, verse 18, Abigail packs emergency provisions for David and his men. Among the supplies, she grabs 5 measures of parched grain. Not bread. Parched grain. Because when the crisis is now, you do not wait for dough to rise. In 1 Samuel chapter 17, verse 17, Jesse sends his son David to the battlefield carrying an ephah of parched grain for his brothers. Soldiers carried it the way a modern soldier carries a field ration: light, portable, calorie-dense, ready to eat. In 2 Samuel chapter 17, verse 28, loyalists bring David parched grain, along with beans and lentils and honey during the rebellion of Absalom. And in Leviticus chapter 23, verse 14, God himself commands Israel not to eat bread or parched grain or fresh ears of grain until the first fruits offering has been made. The fact that God names parched grain alongside bread tells you how central it was. This was not a side dish. It was a pillar. Now, when most people hear the word grain, they think of bread. And they are right. Bread was the foundation of every meal. But parched grain was everything bread could not be. It was instant. It was portable. It needed no preparation, no tools, no skill. It was what you grabbed when you were hungry, and the oven was cold, and the day was already moving. So if this food was everywhere, if it fed widows and soldiers and kings, if God named it in the law alongside bread itself, then why is nobody eating it today? And what is hiding inside that kernel that your bag of chips will never give you? Here is where it gets interesting. Remember what I said at the beginning: 4 times more fiber than a bag of potato chips. Now let me show you why that number matters. Hulled barley delivers approximately 17 grams of dietary fiber per 100 grams, while a standard 100-gram portion of potato chips delivers roughly 4 grams. That is a 4-to-1 ratio, confirmed by the United States Department of Agriculture Food Database. Fiber is what keeps your gut working. It feeds the beneficial bacteria in your intestines. It slows the absorption of sugar into your bloodstream. It is the reason you feel full after eating whole food and hungry again an hour after eating something out of a bag. A major review published in The Lancet in 2019 analyzed 243 studies on dietary fiber. The researchers found that people who ate the most fiber had a 15 to 30% lower risk of heart disease, stroke, type 2 diabetes, and colorectal cancer. That is not a supplement claim on a bottle. That is 243 studies reviewed by one of the most respected medical journals on earth. But the fiber is only the beginning. Barley contains a specific type of soluble fiber called beta-glucan, and this is where it becomes extraordinary. In 2006, the United States Food and Drug Administration authorized a formal health claim for barley. The FDA stated that 3 grams of barley beta-glucan per day may reduce the risk of coronary heart disease. Barley is one of only 2 grains on the planet that carry this claim. The other is oats. And barley contains roughly 50% more beta-glucan per gram than oats do. A study published in the European Journal of Clinical Nutrition confirmed that barley beta-glucan significantly reduced LDL cholesterol in adults. Picture that. A simple whole grain supporting heart health as part of a balanced diet. And there is more. Barley provides approximately 133 milligrams of magnesium per 100 grams. Chips provide about 50. That is nearly 3 times more of the mineral that regulates blood pressure, blood sugar, and muscle function. 7 out of 10 adults in America are not getting enough magnesium. Most of them do not know it. They are buying bottles and powders at the pharmacy for $12 to $15 a month. The answer has been sitting in a bulk bin for under $2 a pound. Protein. Barley delivers roughly 12.5 grams per 100 grams. Chips deliver about 6.5, nearly double. Selenium. Barley provides about 38 micrograms per 100 grams. That is nearly 70% of your daily requirement from a single serving. Selenium supports your thyroid. It acts as an antioxidant, and most people are not getting enough of it. Think about this for a moment. A bag of chips at the gas station costs $4 to $5. A pound of whole hulled barley costs under $2. That single pound gives you enough roasted grain for a week of snacking. You are spending more money for less nutrition. You are paying for the bag, the brand, the factory, and the advertising. Your great-grandmother paid for a handful of grain and a few minutes over a fire, and her heart was stronger for it. So if this food fed Ruth in the fields and David on the battlefield, if it carries more fiber and more protein and more minerals than anything in the modern snack aisle, then why did it disappear? The answer is not dramatic. It is quiet, and that is what makes it so heartbreaking. As milling technology advanced, grain moved from the field to the factory. Whole kernels were stripped, refined, bleached, and reshaped into products engineered for shelf life and profit. Crackers, chips, puffs, bars. Every one of them designed to last months in a warehouse and seconds in your mouth. The original form vanished not because it failed, but because it could not be branded. You cannot put a patent on barley roasted over a fire. You cannot charge a premium for something anyone with a skillet and 5 minutes can make at home. The industrial food system did not ban parched grain. It simply replaced it, one factory at a time, one brand at a time, one aisle at a time, and an entire generation grew up believing that snacking required a wrapper. This is not unique to grain. It happened to raw honey. It happened to fermented vegetables. It happened to bone broth. The simplest and most nourishing foods in human history were quietly set aside and replaced by processed versions that cost more and deliver less. Because simplicity does not sell. It was not taken from you. It was just forgotten. One generation stopped making it. The next never learned. And now a food that fed Ruth in the barley field and David on the march sits in a bulk bin that most people walk past without a second look. But here is the thing. It was never gone. The barley is still growing. The wheat is still in the field. The preparation takes 5 minutes and a single pan. And today, you are going to bring it back. But before I show you how, I want you to see something. It is late morning outside Bethlehem. The sun is climbing. The air is warm and dry. The barley field stretches out in every direction. The heads are heavy and golden and bending under their own weight. Reapers move in slow rows, cutting handfuls of stalks close to the ground. Behind them, a woman is bending low. Her name is Ruth. She is a Moabite, a foreigner, a widow. She is gleaning behind the reapers, picking up what they leave behind. That is the provision the law makes for the poor and the stranger. It is written in Leviticus chapter 19, verses 9 and 10. When you reap the harvest of your land, you shall not reap your field right up to its edge. You shall leave it for the poor and for the sojourner. Her hands are rough from the stalks. Her back aches from bending since dawn. She is surviving on the margins of someone else's field. And then Boaz sees her. He calls her over. He offers bread. He offers vinegar to dip it in. And then he reaches into the supply and hands her parched grain. Roasted barley, still warm. The smell of toasted grain rises between them like smoke from a quiet offering. She eats. She is satisfied. And she has some left over. In a life defined by scarcity, by gleaning the edges, by taking only what falls, she was handed something directly. And it was enough. And there was extra. The grain was not incidental to this story. It was the story, the provision, the kindness, the moment a widow stopped gleaning from the margins and was invited to the table. And the food that carried that invitation was not bread. Bread takes hours. It was roasted grain, ready in minutes, given by hand, eaten on the spot. This is the lineage of David. This is the lineage of Christ. And it begins in a barley field with a handful of parched grain passed from one hand to another. Now let me give you something you can take to your kitchen today. This is the fastest food in the Bible. 5 minutes. 1 pan. No recipe. Start with whole-hulled barley or whole wheat berries. You can find them in any bulk food store or health food aisle. A pound costs under $2. That single pound will last you a week or more. Heat a dry cast iron skillet or heavy pan over medium heat. No oil, no butter, nothing but the pan and the grain. Add a single layer of kernels. About half a cup for one generous snack portion. Stir constantly for 4 to 6 minutes until thoroughly cooked and tender to chew. The kernels will darken slightly. A warm toasted aroma will fill your kitchen. The same aroma that filled the air outside Bethlehem when Ruth sat down to eat. When the grain is golden brown and beginning to crack, it is done. Remove from heat. Let it cool for 1 minute. Eat it by hand, exactly the way it was eaten in the field of Boaz 3,000 years ago. If you want, sprinkle a pinch of sea salt. Drizzle a little raw honey for sweetness. In the ancient world, parched grain was sometimes eaten alongside dried fruit and nuts. That was the original trail mix. No brand, no package, no factory. Do not overthink this. You are not baking. You are not measuring to the gram. You are roasting grain over heat the way human beings have done for 5,000 years. If it smells good and it crunches, you did it right. Now, for those of you who want to go further, you can grow the grain yourself. The Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to work it and keep it. That is Genesis chapter 2, verse 15. Growing your own grain is not a hobby. It is a return to the original assignment. Use a wide, shallow container at least 12 inches across and 8 inches deep. A half whiskey barrel or a large fabric grow bag works well. Fill it with standard potting mix and a handful of compost. Barley is not demanding. It has grown in poor soil across 6 continents for thousands of years. Plant the seeds 1 inch deep and 2 inches apart. Scatter and press them gently into the soil. Water evenly to start. Keep the soil moist during germination. Once the plants are established, barley is drought tolerant. Water every 3 to 4 days, or when the top inch of soil feels dry. Give it at least 6 hours of direct sunlight. You will see sprouts in 7 to 10 days. The barley will mature in roughly 60 to 90 days, depending on your variety and your climate. When the heads turn gold and the kernels are hard, it is ready. If you let a few heads drop their grain at the end of the season, barley will reseed itself. Plant it once. Harvest it every year. The fields surrounding Bethlehem have been cultivated for barley for over 3,000 years. If you are in the Philippines, Southeast Asia, West Africa, or the Caribbean, barley may struggle in tropical lowland heat. It was bred for cooler, drier seasons. In that case, grow wheat berries or sorghum. They roast exactly the same way, and they thrive in warm climates. If you are in North America, Europe, or the Mediterranean, barley will grow as easily as grass. It was made for your soil. One small patch gives you a season of snacking. No packaging, no factory, no brand name. Just grain you grew with your own hands, roasted in your own kitchen, eaten the way it was eaten in the fields of Bethlehem. 4 times more fiber than a bag of chips. Enough beta-glucan to carry an FDA health claim. And it roasts in 5 minutes in a pan your grandmother already owns. The grain is still growing. The fire is still warm. Go roast something.